If it's about trophies, you can go buy a trophy and call yourself a champion. I said, no, you can make. I said, you can do this. It's that you right now you don't believe you can, and the minute you believe in yourself, you can do this. You can do anything you want. I will stop practice immediately. What's the rule I got on my team, everybody? Don't say the word can. So if you have that level of respect for yourself, you're going to do your very best. They're giving their all, you give your all in everything. If you can't give your all in the court, then it's going to be hard for you to give your all in the classroom. Whether you want to be successful, if you want to be what you're posting on social media and you're doing stuff and you want all this stuff, you have to be consistent.
Happy hello, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of your Heard It Here podcast with me, your girl DTC Heard, and we got special guests returning to the podcast, and I'm super excited because lately I've been doing a lot of different works in schools and speeches, and if there's anybody I know that is making an impact within our community and within the kids, I would say our youth of today, because they're not goats, the youth of today, it is this person. When I say he is one of the most phenomenal coaches, a mentor, photographer extraordinaire, like he just checks and fills all the boxes. Okay, okay, right. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you into a DMV Renaissance Award recipient, Coach TJ Anding. Welcome back.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm doing well. A lot going on, but it's all good. How are you?
I am good. I'm actually good. It's been a pretty interesting 2024, but I'm enjoying the ride so far.
Okay. Well, tell us about what's going on in 2024 so far.
We just wrapped up our basketball season. We this literally yesterday we celebrated our basketball season. We had a phenomenal celebration. We highlighted all the accomplishments our teams have had. We've had six teams this season. We had over 100. We had 100 student athletes participate in our basketball program, and it was phenomenal. We had a phenomenal time. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of work, but I definitely just enjoy seeing them, and they was having a great time. We was outside, just enjoying the warm weather and just having a great time amongst the parents. It was great. So on to the next one, which is we're taking time off to prepare for the next season.
So happy to hear about your season. Congratulations to all of your student athletes and also to the student athletes to come in the new upcoming season. I know that you have been just out here entrepreneuring, your entrepreneurship and everything. So the title of this episode was called Behind the Lens because we would definitely want to get behind the scenes again of what's going on with HTA Photography, because I saw you had a new logo. That logo is fire.
Thank you.
So we're going to go into each one of your businesses because, you're not just a businessman. You are a business man.
There you go.
We did it. I just so tell us what's going on with all of the new adventures with HTA Photography. I see you are running the sale as far as like I see you for poets and proms, and you have a new website going on. Like, tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, so we're in the position. I'm in the position of just kind of rebranding everything. In this time, I've learned to pivot. Excuse me. I've learned to pivot a lot in the last few years, not just stop. And so I just wanted to do something fresh as far as my logo. So I said I want something where it stands out, but it's more so elegant and classy. So my person at my logo designer at Future the Retro Fred, I go to him for all my logo designs. He created this amazing logo, and so then we went from there during National Poetry Month. I did a sale for all the poets to just kind of get photos to market themselves. We had a couple who did it, who signed up to do the photos, and then also this is a time where it's starting to get warm outside. Senior prom is here, and so I ran a special for that. So I was fortunate enough and honored enough to take a few proms. I have two more coming up in May, and I'm excited for those two because reluctantly, these two young men played sports in where I coach at. So it all ties them together. So, uh, but we just continue to work and market through social media, through uh, emails, to just everywhere I can, just to market myself, to get everything out there to promote this business and to gain not just repeat clientele but new clientele as well. So
I love that. The first thing that stood out to me was you talked about how much you pivoted and revamped and rebranded because I mean, I think we've all kind of done that the past
yeah.
couple of months, but
Mhm.
to hear someone else say that, especially another male say that it's been like the theme for the last few episodes, pivot, rebrand, revamp, and it's absolutely okay. How do you feel since making certain changes of pivoting in your business? Like how has it affected the actual sales and also to your growth, your personal growth and professional growth?
Uh, it affected my sales greatly. I think it's just just being more comfortable and being more confident in the rebranding process and allowing to give myself grace in the process of rebranding. Too many times I've felt that I was just too trying to be too perfect in conducting business and being too hard on myself when I make mistakes. But in the process is learning to evaluate each event, each client that I have, I've conduct business with, and then just learn the lessons and then take it moving forward to apply it to the next to future business. Um, Personally, I'm pivoting as well. Personally, it's more so in the time of continuing to learn who I am as a person, as a man, and just really just understanding who I am and what my purpose truly is on this earth. It is uh, This season is the quiet season for myself. I truly say that because I really just want to just to know who I am and know what is my actual purpose on this earth is. So I've been more quiet as of late, but I also continue to do business. But and personally, it's more so just rebranding myself, learning who I am, loving who I am, um, being proud of who I am, because at one point in my life I wasn't, and then just moving forward to just enjoy life, enjoy the moments, every single moment, and just be grateful as well.
I love that. Because you talked about how you're still doing business, but you're taking care of yourself first and you're giving yourself grace. And I'm not gonna say it's a cancer thing. Maybe it's an us thing, just because we're also what, like 5-6 days apart, give or take. But
We'll take a day.
give or take. But I think it's something where like every time we talk, we definitely have that relatability there of always trying to be perfect. And I think that made it a lot harder sometimes, like in the past, where when you revamp, you're like, all right, I got it. But did you ever find yourself living in a space of comparison when, like, before you just rebranded and like got into your quiet space? Did you find yourself like in a heavily comparison state, and the reason why you were probably getting frustrated is because you're not that person, but you're still just trying to find yourself in a sense?
All the time. And this is not just business. This is personally. This was as people don't. Well, many people don't know is I'm also a poet. But even in that field, just trying to compare myself to other poets, it was just like, okay, trying to create that so-called perfect poem is never going to happen. And so you're trying to speak like this performer or have the same cadence as another performer, and you're trying to do all this stuff. It's just like, and I would get super frustrated. And it's just like, oh man, I want that type of ovation. I want that type of, performance where they be like, oh, you just killed it. I just got to a place I was like, I'm just gonna be me. And I felt like after it was right before my basketball season started, I had a time to sit down and reflect. And I was like, you know what? Man, I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna be. I have to be myself. And if if they don't like it, it's fine. If they do, I'm grateful. And in the process of this is I've lost close friends. I've become
Talk about it.
I've become distant from family members. It has been friends who I felt like we've known each other since like since children, since babies, and we no longer speak. But it's a process where is every and this is an old saying, everybody knows this, is everybody can't go with you along this journey. And it sucked. It was parts of that journey where it was just like, wow, we're not talking no more. But then it's just like, there's a reason why. There's a reason why we're not in the same space no more. I felt like even now, there's certain places that I used to just go on a regular. I no longer go. There's conversations I don't want to entertain. I'm in the space where if it ain't about growing, I don't want to talk about it. Like, that's just me, and it's more so, and I'm learning myself because I had a conversation recently. I was just like, with a friend of mine, I was like, the boundary part is where givers struggle the hardest.
Absolutely.
So if you're a giver, you're always, and a lot of times with givers, and I've learned this with myself, is we're expecting people to give back what we're giving, and it will never happen. It is
It's mind-boggling. It's frustrating.
It is, and it's where it's just like you get to a point where it's just like, man, just give something, just give me some kind of that energy back. I'll take that. But I have somebody ask a question. Matter of fact, I had Jeff asked this question in a conversation a while ago, and he asked me. He said it was about my dad. He said, "If you never get that, are you gonna be okay if you never get the answer you want?" And I said, and it stuck with me. I couldn't even like shake the answer. I was like, I have to be okay with that. As much as I don't want it to be, I want the answer that I want. And I had to take that question and apply it to to other people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
If we no longer speak, am I going to be okay? If this don't work out in this business, if this client don't work out, am I going to be okay? As long as I give my best in regard to everything, I can walk away and say, yo, I tried. I can sit there and say, okay, I gave my best effort and it just wasn't meant to be. And the pain hurts, especially with those who you've grown close with, whether it be personal or business. You grow close with people sometimes in business, and sometimes it dissolves. But you have the purpose keeps you going. That thing that why, as everybody talks about.
Yeah, it's the why.
That why keeps you motivated. Like, all right, it's a reason why this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I feel like I've learned to wrap it up, I've learned to just appreciate every day. Because for me, I've been always, oh, I got this going on. I got to get this done this week and this and the fourth. But I just had to stop at a certain point and say, yo, let me just enjoy the day.
I like that.
Let me just take it. Let me just take this time. The work gonna get done. I know it's gonna get done because guess what? I have it scheduled out. It's gonna get done. Let me enjoy today.
I appreciate that so much because also too, just knowing you off like outside of like this platform and like on camera, I know that there has like things that we've talked about family differences, and to see and to hear that you're at least putting those boundaries back in place is absolutely amazing. So I'm super proud of you for that because it's not easy. And just as much as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me. I ain't about to sit here and say I got to figure it out. I'm talking to me too because with everything even in my life on the side, like those boundaries, like those family boundaries have been heavily enforced, I'll say of late. But it seems like also too, like the theme, maybe I may even go back and change like the theme of this. It seems like there is a reoccurring theme of pivoting in your life in all aspects. Because you had talked about like, sometimes like you've lost friendships, like you've lost like even people that you've been in business close, like I understand that completely. Like you might have been as close because like you guys have maybe severed a business tie together. And I'm also hearing a lot of grace too for yourself because listen, I'm just gonna say, like a year ago, even though I wasn't doing it myself, we're not gonna talk about the hypocrisy in this. We're just gonna talk about you right now. But like a year ago, I would hear you talk about your to-do list, and you're like, I have to do this, 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 and this, and I'm like, bruh, when are you eating? When are you sleeping? When are you taking time for TJ? When are you resting? When are you actually like taking a mental break? Even sometimes, like, and I get it. When you're in that solopreneur or that entrepreneurship realm, you're like, good. But what are you doing nowadays to actually like take yourself, besides like, the grace part, all of like, the therapy terms, right? What are you actually doing to take care of yourself nowadays?
One is, so I've recently decided to take a break from coaching. It was not an easy decision. This was something that was thought about for over a year. So this past season, it was probably the most stressful that I've been in because I was tasked to coach 3 teams this year, and coaching one team throughout a season is already a task in itself. But to coach 3 teams and you're bouncing around between various gyms, between as far up as Greenbelt and to as far south as Glen Park and Brandon. It is a lot. And then on top of you're trying to run, you have photography business going on, you have photo jobs that you're trying to book and you're doing that weekend as well. And then also you're trying to fit in time with the family. They have events going on. So I said, you know what? I need a break. So I made the decision to give myself a break. I had no estimated time of returning, and I'm okay with that. I've been coaching 16 years straight. It has been a phenomenal ride. It has been a moment of great clarity, I've met some amazing people, met some amazing young people, and it's not like I'm leaving them high and dry, but this chapter, I have to take a pause to reevaluate who I am and get myself together. So outside of that, poetry, I go to open mics more now. So for me, I just go and attend. I don't go to really just perform because for me, I love to go and just listen to poets and listen to their poetry. Also, just taking time out to just relax just hang out, just hang out, do stuff for myself, and start to learn how to um, just enjoy me, finding out what I really really like doing, because I've been doing things for everybody else. As now trying to find out, and finally at 41, what do TJ like to do? What does TJ really like to do for fun? And when I answered that question before, it was everything for everybody else. Oh, I would love being in the gym. I love coaching. I love doing this. I love mentoring. I love this, that, and the fourth. It was never. I just enjoy like going to the movies. It was always just something with everybody else. Now I'm just going to enjoy myself, enjoy my time.
I absolutely love that, because you don't always hear it from a male's perspective about taking breaks, and the transparency that goes into that of you're doing this for the betterment of you. You're not leaving anybody else high and dry, but you have to do this for you so the way you can be the best you for you. But by being the best you for you, you also then can be the best that you can be for everybody else that you impact. Segueing into, there was something you talked about with coaching. Because and it's also too no shade. We've talked about for the past couple of years about you taking a break, and you never took a break. And I have to imagine that this is also to be just the outside looking in, the impact that you make on that court to those young people. I have to imagine that was probably one of the things that actually kept you.
Yes.
One of the things.
Yes.
But what else actually kept you on the court, coaching?
It was mainly the kids. I'll be honest with you. I think in this time of season in life, when you're coaching kids in a sport, whether it be individual or team, and you build that connection through the sport, it is something that it's hard to describe. But it's like, yo, this is an amazing feeling. You get so amped up to go to practice and competition, whether it's a game, whether it's certain things. For me, coaching basketball, it was just, man, I was just enjoying the kids. I was enjoying coaching, just teaching. And then it wasn't fun no more. And then it became more so, oh, this was business. And it was just like, then it was, you start to hear from, I was just more so treated as an option to a lot of people versus just, not saying I'm not saying don't treat me like the priority, but I'm a human. Hey, I get no check. I spend countless money on gas, water, basketball equipment. This is what I signed up for. This is no shade to nobody. This is what I signed up for. I knew what I signed up for when I was getting it.
You writing it off?
The basketball part, no, but I need to.
Okay.
The basketball part, like the meals, like meals for, what I'm saying, kid. But again, it was no, oh, I need no recognition. My thing was, hey man, we just appreciate what you do. And I knew that, and I know that everybody won't give it. But I think for me, this season, the straw that broke the camel's back, it was 3 situations where 2 main ones, I was just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do. The one thing that I always give to everybody is respect.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you violate the respect, for me is I don't argue. I'm not gonna argue, go back and forth. We're just not gonna speak. There's nothing else. And I felt in 2 situations, I won't go into detail. In 2 situations, I was disrespected. And these were these were men. And we already have an issue in our community where, the black men are labeled as, we have this negative perception as black men anyway. And so,
can you elaborate? with I'm apologizing, but can you elaborate what because we it's everybody's up to interpretation, but can you elaborate which perception you were talking about with the
So
negativity surrounding black males?
as black men, I feel like as perception we get in, we don't we are always we don't follow through on stuff. We act wild. Sometimes we get too violent. We don't have a sense of respect for each other, for each other, or ourselves as a whole. And in sports, yeah, you can find this a lot in sports because you find where while the intentions may be good when you first get into it, now everybody wants to be a winner. They want to win. They want to focus on the trophy versus just what do you what. And I always ask the question is, what's your end game when you get into coaching? If it's about trophies, you can go buy a trophy and call yourself a champion. The end game for me is seeing the kid say, "Oh, I signed a letter of intent to go to college for free." See a kid at 21, 21, 22. Hey, coach, you saved my life. Seeing the kid who didn't have a passion to go to college turn around and say, "Yo, coach, I'm going to college next year." These are type of stories. This is like, man, that keep me going, and that kept me going. But then you get to a place where you got parents who just they have their own agendas, which is rightfully so. We're coaching your child,
Mm-hmm.
and the one thing I had to understand years and many years into coaching, my coaching was this is business. This ain't personal. If they decide to leave and go somewhere else, I might not be the right coach for them. It's cool. And the thing is, I would never say, oh, I would never speak ill will on anybody that I've coached, even their parents. It's even the situation this year with the one parent, I never speak ill will. It's just we had a situation, it didn't work out. I wish the best. Um, it's just, but I think just in the sense of for me, those two main incidents, it was just like I cannot do this no more. And I had a conversation. I prayed about it first because I was just like, all right, God, this is starting to get too much. And I was always honest with my players, but I found myself being like real vulnerable with my players this year.
Mm.
I told them up front, this is my last ride. This is my last one. And they looked at me like, what? Because again, most of them kids that been with me, they've been with me since they're 8, 9 years old. And so you got 4, 5 years in, and we build not just a relationship on the court, but you're building with the court. You're dealing with them. You're talking with them about certain things that they're dealing with at home, school, and just being young men. And it's just like, I said, this is not me leaving you. I have to take a break from this game. I said, I've become a coach that I hate. Always serious, snappy, just not me. Now, I'm serious when it comes to teaching the games in the fourth, but I'm also a coach that loves to have fun too. And I wasn't there this past season. I had to force myself to have fun to get through the season.
I'll say I've seen you coach in person, and I don't know what happened this season because I wasn't able to make it to a game this season. But I remember last year when I've seen you coach, and the reason I'm drawing this, stay with me, is because lately I've been going into schools and whatnot because there's a few different nuggets in what you just said. Lately I've been going into schools and speaking to them and trying to think about what did I need to hear as a student and what do I need to hear now with the aspect of social media. But I've also noticed within these certain schools, like teachers are taxed And teachers and coaches or whatnot, you all are not babysitters, but it is a lot because these students are now dealing with just a different level of, we'll say, just like trauma and their mental health. And last year, because I'm thinking about it now, last year I remember there was an incident. I think it was a game at it was a Bowie Gym or so, and you were yelling. Not yelling. You were coaching. I'll say you were coaching, but your voice was elevating across the court because it was loud. It was a gymnasium. Let's say it was loud. And I remember it was a parent who came up to you afterwards about how you were speaking to their son. Although to me, out looking like, I'm just like, okay, well, you know what? He messed up. He's like, TJ's actually teaching him something. And there are things, like you said, I want my students, like, I mean, I'm going to tell me, hey, I'm about to go to college. Hey, I just got to this program. Like, that is what the impact, that's the reward that you get from coaching, especially like from doing it for free. But what are some things that you feel, besides, like, we're going to take out the coach that you said you hated this year, because even then, and that's another self-awareness thing, but even with that, I'm sure you still instilled something. But within your 16 years of coaching, what do you think are traits or attributes or things that you are teaching these young athletes on the court that they're not getting at home and they're not getting in the classroom?
The first one is respect for themselves. I think that you know, if you have respect for yourself on the court, it's a way that you carry yourself. A certain thing of pride. Um, you know, I feel like with kids nowadays, it's more so about the look. Excuse me. Sometimes it's more so about the look versus the outer appearance versus the inner appearance. And so the one thing that I've always tell our players is to respect yourself and respect your opponent. It's okay to it's okay to you don't fear nobody, but you respect them on the floor because they're competing just like you are. You're competing for a common goal, which is to win a game or the ultimately win a championship. So they're giving their all, you give your all and everything. If you can't give your all in the court, then it's gonna be hard for you to give your all in the classroom. It's gonna be hard to give your all at home. And so you have to have that level of respect for yourself. If you have that level of respect for yourself, you're going to do your very best to in all aspects, whether it's at home, in school, in the classroom, whether you get a job, whether you go to the military, whatever you decide to do in life, you have to have that respect for yourself. And then also is just, just um somebody we teach confidence. I instill confidence. That's one thing I always want to do is believe in yourself. I have one rule on my team with my coach. You cannot say the word can't. I will stop practice immediately. And I asked him, you said, what did you say to me? And he said, the one kid said one time, I can't make the layup. I stopped practice. I said, what's the rule I got on my team, everybody? Don't say the word can't. I said, no, you can make, I said, you can do this. It's that you right now you don't believe you can. And the minute you believe in yourself, you can do this, you can do anything you want. And the last one is just really just being coachable. A lot of times people felt like, and this is where uh, a lesson I learned with early in my years with older kids and then coaching older kids and then this season. Uh, a lot of times kids start to feel like, oh, they can do it all. They can do everything. They don't need to be coached. They don't need the guidance. And so I had to I've used the old a line from Keith Stevens. He's a founder of Takeover Basketball. It's a highly respectable AAU grassroots program. And he told his team one time, if you do things my way, you'll have success. If you do things your way, you're going to fail. And that translates to if you follow the advice of your coach who you can trust, you're going to be successful. If if you don't, if you decide you feel like you can do what you want, there's only two ways it's going to end for you in life, and both of them are not good. So, and I try to tell my kids, I say, look, I said I'm 41 and I still have mentors. I still have people that I go to for advice on everything, whether it's coaching, photography, mentoring, business, life, spiritual life, whatever. You always learning. The minute you stop learning, you are dying. You're dead. So I make sure that I coach and instill those things in them. Um, Lately, the last few weeks of my season, I just really just asked them just to just take a breathe, just breathe. Because a lot of times in the game and stuff like that, we tend to get stressed out and we want to win so bad is that we forget to just take a deep breath and relax. And so and just instilling that confidence in them and just relaxing and just to kind of just enjoy the moment. That was my message this end of this season. Enjoy the moment. That was me.
I love that. Because it goes back again to
Mm-hmm.
you're still even with being coachable, respect, and also you can never stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
All those things come right back to I keep pulling it back to the importance of pivoting,
Mm-hmm.
but it shows them, especially as I can even think in a basketball game, because hey, look, again, loosely, because I swim, and even then, if I could do it like a mermaid, if was the best of it. But it looks like even throughout a game, everything's not going to go the way that you planned. Like you may be positioned wrong, or may have that moment of like self doubt, and as you're shooting and you think, okay, I can't make the layup, but you're saying like, yes, you can if you believe yourself and you envision yourself doing it, like you can do it. It just takes a bit of like finesse. That's something that's so important that I think not a lot of kids are getting that lesson about life, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not just about the game. It's not just about like it's about the human experience and about what they're going to deal with when life happens, because you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Oh, not to quote Friday, but
And
it's true.
that's the truth. And it's where um like this past season, my 13s and 14s, we didn't win the championship
Mhm.
this season. We were very successful. We lost each team we only lost twice. We lost once in the regular season, then of course we lost in the playoffs. And so, it was the lesson after the game. It was, of course the kids were hurt, they were crying. It was like, you feel bad as a coach because again we worked so hard all season. But then it's, I said my main message to them was never don't walk out of here thinking you're a loser. You walk out of here, you gave it your. I said, Dad, did you give it your all? They were like, yeah. So you had nothing to be ashamed of. What's to be ashamed about? It's I know you wanted to win. I know you wanted to win this championship. I know you did. Somebody had to lose. Unfortunately, it was us. And uh, and like you say, sometimes obstacles come our way. Bad call from a ref, situation may occur during the game, and it's how we respond from it. And like you said that you made this great point is there are life lessons that translate into sports every time. And that's something that I constantly use. I constantly use sports to teach life lessons, whether it's in coaching or through mentoring.
Segue into oh, oh, I don't know what that was. But before we get to like the mentor part of it, because you have a great event coming up, I also want to point out something you said earlier about you were vulnerable with your team this year.
Mhm.
And whatever that vulnerability looked like to you, and the fact that those young athletes saw that, I think that was a very positive thing as a male, and as even a black male, to show vulnerability, because some kids, not even just kids, but some, just will they say some households, and even some places in our country, or even the world right now, always like we're just getting into. I'm gonna pause. So I'm gonna read back this. I'm gonna revamp this. I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. You said this. You had said something else about being vulnerable with your team, and I think that was very positive for your team to see a black male, a successful black male, to be vulnerable enough in that space with them, because there is this idea that being taught about men having to hold all their emotions and have to go off and figure it out by themselves. But you also told them that, hey, I still have mentors. I have people that help me, because life is about figuring it out and how you move forward. But because we're just getting to the place of allowing men to really show their emotions or really talk about it, because it's a taboo topic. What did that vulnerability look like, if you can go a little bit more into detail, and how did your team receive it?
Surprisingly, they were received it well. I was shocked. I think for me, it was just I had to be honest with them. They were at an age where you're 13, 14 years old. You didn't seen so much at this age between at home, school, social media, other gyms, other teams you can play with. You didn't seen so much, so it's a lot that that you don't know about. But um, I was vulnerable with them enough to let them know that it is okay to not be okay. Uh, February 12th, I was involved in a serious car accident where thankfully it was no broken bones. Nobody was really, no casualties, no deaths was involved. But my car was totaled. I was involved in a car was T-bone. If anybody knows what that is, it's driving this way and T car makes like a T. So um, that happened February 12th. Practice. I was at practice that Thursday against my coach's orders. My head coach told me to stay home. I still came to practice that Thursday, and I said, mm-hmm. And I was my coach. He let me have it. He was hot. He was mad. Like he let me have it. And my thing was, dude, we gotta be here. And that was a night where it was a bad practice too. It was a bad practice. We had a bad practice, and
Okay, yeah, I'm like, hold on. You're
yeah.
not gonna say pause. You're not gonna just say what you just said. Like, I'm not about to say something about that. The fact that you February 12th, and that, what was that? Like,
So
that was a Monday, wasn't it?
that was a Monday. So I came home. So reluctantly, so Monday we had practice at Andrew Jackson Monday, 9:45. I was on my way home. I was on the Waldorf. I was literally 5 minutes from the house, from my mother's house, and then I go home just to go get go to sleep. I was going home. I was literally around the corner from the house, and I got T-boned. And get up the next day, still in pain. Go through the process of going to get a rental, going through that process, talking to an attorney, talking to an insurance company. That was a whole hassle in itself. Going to get looked at. And the one thing that I appreciate about my players is that if not all of them, 95% of them checked on.
That's great.
They was like, "You good? You good, coach? Need anything?" I'm hanging. I said, "No, I'm good." I said, "I don't need nothing, man." I said, but I walked in Thursday. They looked at me like, even the president of the organization, he looked at me like, what the you doing here?
Yeah,
And,
what are you doing here?
you know, I didn't share it with a lot of people. I mean, I posted on social media, but not a lot in the organization knew about it. But I kept it. I still have the pictures from the accident because that keeps me humble. Because things could have been different. That was a major pivot for me because that made me say, enjoy the day. Because it can all be snatched away from you at a moment.
And it's really sad. Sometimes you gotta have those moments.
And you know, it's sometimes you have to have a major like disaster happen. I want to say for some people to get it. Or as I tell people, you have to get your hand burnt on the stove for you to understand, like, okay, yeah, I don't want to do that no more. So then, you know, then just me share my story about just like this how I grew up. Like I shared, like I didn't tell them everything, but I shared some stuff like how I grew up. It was like y'all not going through nothing different. Like, I went through some similar stuff that you guys went through. You know, going through, you know, you're going through your parents not together. You're going through this household. You've been through. I was in between kindergarten through sixth grade. I went to 4 different schools, so I know about bouncing around and traveling through different sides of the family and all that stuff. And I said, but when I played basketball gave me a place of peace. I was in a place of comfort. My coaches let me be free. I was able to just enjoy the game. And that's what I want you guys to do when you play basketball. Enjoy the game. This is not we made it where it's about business, it's about championships and who's winning what. And social media made it more now where we compare ourselves to others on social media because if we're doing stuff, we're doing good, we'll post it, but we don't post the failures. We can manipulate what we post. We post it because we can show you, hey, my life is great on social media. But a lot of people don't understand. They don't see what you're going through behind closed doors. So that was another reason why I posted the accident. Look, my life ain't always peaches and cream over here. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, trust me, you ain't the only one that fussed me out. I got fussed out by
sorry, I'm gonna cut you some slack. I was happy at least when you posted it and we were talking afterwards because I was just like, oh my god, like when I saw your car and I remember like you loved your Batman. Like, were you able to get your Batman off the back of your car?
No, I had to buy another one. So I just only.
Oh dang, man! See, it's just like well, again, something minute, but it goes back to even when we talk about like the revamp and the pivoting. I got tired of seeing it, and again, people can take this with a grain of salt, or they can take it, but I say what I say. I'm gonna say what I said. Is I got tired of seeing all of the highlights, and when we go, but that's why I love the fact that you can reiterate that to your athletes, is because I'll say going into these schools, when I say they really think a lot of stuff on social media is just so real and then you just get it like that, that is not the reality. So preparing them for the actual reality of what is to come, of you're going to actually have to sacrifice and work hard for these things you see on social media, but you're literally only seeing the real, which is short for highlight reel, the highlight. And everyone's talking about like their success and there's the stories of when they make it, but nobody's talking about the transparency behind the scenes, like the behind the hustling, behind the sacrifice, behind coaching 3 teams and running a photography business and actually trying to still be like sane and work out and eat healthy and be a good son, be a good brother, be a good all of these different roles that all of us play in life. No one's talking about how do you balance all of those things and how do you really actually talk about it from a place of understanding and where can we find some common ground. That's why I love the fact that you reiterate that to them. Like, of course, the confidence and those are the founding and the foundation and like the building blocks, but really still giving them a taste of what reality is important.
And that is something that we wanted to instill that in them between last year and this year. This is what you're about to experience. It's not going to be pretty. If this is a conversation we've always had with them, we've had this the last maybe 3 or 4 seasons. we've had a practice where maybe like the last 20 minutes we'll stop practice and we'll have one big talk. And we'll say, I said, what is it that you want out of this? Like, what's your end game of basketball? And so most of them go into, oh, I want to go to the league. I want to go to this. I want to go to the league. Okay, cool. What are you willing to sacrifice? Because you're going to have to sacrifice something to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to sacrifice fun, family time. You're going to sacrifice girls. You're going to sacrifice a lot of stuff that you're going to be like, oh, yo, like this is, and I'm not telling you not to have fun. I would never tell you never to have fun. But if you want to be the athlete that you want to be, you have to be disciplined. And a lot of these players, they say that, but then the work ethic behind it, and this is where the coaching part comes into play. We have to work on instilling more discipline versus just, oh, we want these, teach all these moves, but they can't be disciplined enough to be effective on and off the court. So, that's one thing that I not only try to teach them, but also I learned of myself is to be better disciplined when it comes to everything. And it's, I can't go hang out certain nights if I want to, I know I got work to do. I got to get up and, go to work this morning. I got to, we got to get ready for this event. We got this tournament. I can't go hang out the night before because I got a tournament. We got a game next week. So I had to, this season alone, I had to tell my coaching staff, Friday nights, I cannot talk. I can't be on the phone. I have to get my mind and body together because I looked at my own schedule. I'm like, oh man, I got 4 games on Saturday. Turn around, I probably got 3 on Sunday. Yeah, I was between. So that's the thing. It was one weekend. I had 8 games in one weekend.
Aren't they like 3 hours each?
So I can give you one day. I had 3 games in one day. And this is how it worked. I had a 9U game in the morning. I had left the 9U game and when we're done, I left the 9U game, drove from Walker Middle School, drove to Frederick Douglass High School, started to coach the game at Frederick Douglass High School for the 13U team. When the head coach got there, I left right before halftime to go back to Walker Mill to coach the second 9U game. Then the next day, my 14U had a game, 13U had a game, and then my 9U was off. So this is where, and then by the time I'm done, all them days, it was like, people like, oh, man, we got to hang out. I was like, for what? I'm going home. I'm tired.
Wait. I mean, I yawned on that because that just made me tired because even though I know like the distance you got to travel because I'm like right within that distance, that's still like a minute and you got to get up and coach, like get up out of the car, coach. And, sometimes like if you have like your drive, I don't know if like you like just take the drives, like party, release it and, just get it together. And if you have that short amount of time in between like games, you don't even really have a time to like really kind of like bring some of it down, reflect. You're just go. Like that's a lot.
And for me, it was, so my routine was, this year was after the last game of the day, I would drive home in silence. There be no music, nothing. I have to drive because I need to decompress the entire day. And so it would just get to a point, like you said, it was draining, and it was the kids, seeing the kids was always great, but it was just getting to a point where it was just like, yeah, I got to go.
Well, let's segue into your mentorship program, Push for Greatness, because look, do you still got that fly like sweatsuit? Is that sweatsuit?
Yeah, I still got it.
Love it. Like, not just because my favorite colors, but that sweatsuit is like one of the flyest things I've ever seen as far as like on brand. But segue into your mentorship program. because we had talked about earlier that you teach like the same things you're instilling on the court, you have transferred over to your mentorship program. So for
Yes.
those people who have not seen like the previous episode where you were here, can you tell us a little bit more about Push for Greatness and the exciting event that you have coming up?
Yes. So Push for Greatness, we was founded June 1st, 2018. This was a vision that, the vision to start just a mentoring program, something that instill positive development within young people. I've always wanted to run my own nonprofit since I was a kid. But then it went from I wanted to run just like a rec center. I wanted to be in charge of a rec center. I felt like just giving back to the kids and giving back to my community through having a rec center would be great. But then it grew into having run a mentoring program because part of me coaching was, these kids need more than just a coach. So they starting to gravitate towards me now. We're having conversations. I'm sharing my journey as just what I went through in life. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm not alone in this. So I said, okay, let me see if I can start a program. I had an idea in college, and my best friend, he was like, that's fire. I love it. About for me like hours. And outside of basketball, I was never so passionate. I was never this passionate about something other than basketball. And I was just sitting there just talking about it for hours. And so when the time came to get it started, of course, I reached out to certain people I felt like could help me. And I was very appreciative with my best friend when he said no. Because the reason why is because you want people that you love and you trust to come along with you, but this is not for everybody. And for him to say, you know what, I can't do this, but I will support you any way I can, that still meant the world to me. Him and his family, they still supported. They was there. They participated in certain events we had. And so we launched on June 1st, and we've been going ever since. So last year, what we did, we celebrated 5 year, and our 5 year anniversary. We had open mic night because I wanted to combine poetry, the poetry world with the mentoring world. I wanted to bring both of them together to have one big celebration, and we had an amazing turnout. We had an amazing time, and we talked about just our program, what we highlighted. And then this year, we're going to do it again. So on June 9th, we're going to celebrate our 6-year anniversary at Busboys and Poets in Hinesville. We have some amazing people who are going to come by. They're going to bless the stage to perform. I have confirmed 2 special guests so far. I have Chaos itself, and I have the Truth the Poet out of Baltimore. They're agreed to be part of this to perform. And it's going to be a phenomenal show. The world-renowned Nerd the Poet, he's going to host. We have a phenomenal DJ who's going to provide the music for us all evening long, DJ Skip. And it's going to be fun. We're going to have a fun time. And I'm looking forward to it because it gives me a chance to just enjoy 2 things I love the most, which is poetry and mental.
I am super excited for that. First of all, that lineup was absolutely fire. I love To Chaos itself. I love the Truth Poet, and of course, you got Nerd. Like, what an amazing lineup! Like, and the fact that you guys are doing it again, like, you didn't have to wait for another 5 years. It's giving, celebratory every single year because there's a reason to celebrate this phenomenal program that you have in for these young students, which is amazing. How, if a student was interested in being a part of your mentorship program, how would they go about by getting the information and signing up?
Yes, they can go to our website. It is www.push4greatness.org. They can click on the mentee application and fill it out online. If any men who want to be part of our mentoring program, who feel they have a passion to mentor young people, young men, they can also sign up to be a mentor. They can click on it, go to our website and click on the mentor application. we do ask for, we do ask them to do a background check, and then we also do an interview process to do a screen to make sure that they're ready for what's going to be asked of them as far as volunteering their time to be a mentor and also to be a mentee in our program too. We also do interviews with our mentees, prospective mentees. We want them to understand that this is a process. When you're in a mentoring program, this is not going to come overnight. You're not going to be able to change overnight. This is a process of growing and changing for the better. And just like in anything, if you're playing a sport, you're not going to become the greatest of all time the next night. It's going to take a process, and sometimes it takes longer than others to get to where you really want to be at. So that's to answer your question. Then you also go to our website and fill out those applications right there.
That is amazing. So all of those links will be listed below in the bio. For one, Push for Greatness website, so you can sign up. Also to the Eventbrite link for June 9th at Busboys and Poets Hyattsville to come out and support such an amazing cause. Could you even talk about Could you even talk about possibly like mentorship opportunities, whether you want that could be a mentor or a mentee at this event, or is it all just celebratory and they should just go to the website?
We want to make it where we're celebrating the program, but this is also a fundraiser. We want to educate everybody there as to what we are about, what we have done, because I feel that mentoring is truly something that everybody can be part of. It is something where we've all, in a certain fashion, we've all mentored at least at some point in our lives. We've been a mentor to somebody, whether it's a child, whether it's an adult. You've mentored somebody in some capacity, whether it's through business, through sport, through personal life. You've done something to help them get to a better place. And mentoring is not for the weak. No. You have to be in a place where, because this is not a selfish act you're doing, this is selfless. You have to make sure that you are in a place where you're going to sacrifice a lot of yourself to help somebody else. And you have to understand that. And is it, even as a mentor, I'm still growing as a mentor and an owner, because there's still some things that I have to get better at when it comes to connecting with the youth and certain stuff, because their language and growing so fast. It's just like, oh man, I got to learn this, and you got to learn this, and what's going on here, and I had to think about it with my when we were kids. It was the same way. We didn't have social media. We had, it was just, oh, we learning this language. So talking with, my coach would be like, oh, what's that? This and the full. So it's something that I enjoy and I love it. Like you say, you've seen just the growth in the program. We've been able to connect with 27 kids in almost 6 years. The thing that I've learned too, and also it comes back to the pivot, that not all 27 have stayed. Part of the program that people have to understand, and part of life, is to get better, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. Just wanting to be better, wanting to get better. And I always ask the kids this. I say, if I gave you a video game and told you to practice for a tournament, you will practice all night long because you want to win this tournament, right? Yeah. I say, so apply that to your life. I mean, it's easier said than done, but if you really want to be successful, if you want to be what you're posting on social media and you're doing stuff and you want all this stuff, you have to be consistent. And then with that consistency, you're going to build you want to build certain habits and being more disciplined. And so, this is where the one thing that I believe through my 6 years of being the owner of this program, um, parents want to make sure that mentors are consistent because they're so used to inconsistency. They're so used to that. So I can share this story. I was fortunate enough during the pandemic to mentor with a school, to partner with a school in Montgomery County to mentor them, and talking with the school psychologist. And it was she said there was one kid who asked basically like, okay, when is he gonna leave? Like when he gonna leave? Like he ain't gonna be here forever because they're so used to, oh, you say you're gonna be around now, you're here for a little while, and then you just up and gone. So through mentoring, it is, yes, you're gonna have moments where it's like, oh, this is so frustrating. This is something where I don't see the results. And I told my mentors in our meeting last month, I said, you just have to keep chipping away at keep chopping the tree down. Eventually that tree is gonna fall. And then you're gonna have to chop another tree down because that's just something else they gotta deal with. They're dealing with something else that you gotta work on. And so that is this is, I speak about it so passionately because I love this. I love just working with the young people, working with the community. I see so much potential in every kid that and I just want them to know if I talk to any kid, I just let them know that they matter, that they're valuable.
Absolutely. They are all valuable and they matter, and they're not in this alone. There's going to be one more question I have for you as we are wrapping up here on another episode of We Heard It Here. What do you think parents, because you had just mentioned something about inconsistency. So what do you think parents and students need now within mentorship? And how does your program provide that gap and actually provide that need for them?
Wow. I believe that as far as connecting with parents and young people, that they need to know that I would want them to know that we're here no matter what. We're here. Um, you know, this is a journey where we're here. We're a part of your village. We want to help make sure that your son is 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 prepared to be a man when he goes out into the world. We're not going to take reign. We're not going to take over, but we're going to offer some help and some guidance in ways that you know to help him see more options to make a better decision. This is something where we explain to our parents when they decide for their child to be part of the program. We working with young people, young men as far as young as 7. We go all the way up to 18. Excuse me. We've had I'll share this one story. Young man, that one young man who at one point he didn't even college was nowhere in his future. He didn't even think about it. It was, I'm gonna go get a job. I'm good. But giving him an option to see a college campus and explore, and it wasn't us. This was his mother. His mother took him to her college where she went, and now he wants to go. He's getting ready to graduate. He will be attending college in he will attend college in the fall. This is where he has grown tremendously in our program to where I'm just super proud of him. And this is one of the examples that I just share with people where if you just trust what we're given. And it was some bite back with him, at times, he wouldn't want to listen. He think that it was just repetitive. But he understood that at certain points, he understood that what we was telling him was working. And so I just encourage any parent, um, if you feel like your son or maybe your daughter that uh, needs help in certain areas, and you would trust in a mentorship, just do your research. There's some really good mentor programs out here from young men and young women. Um, we're one of them, but then if it's not us, we will refer you to another program. All of us are in this journey to help save a community that the world has given up on. And the one thing that I will do is not give up on these young people.
I absolutely wholeheartedly believe that, because as hard as you fight, especially being back in the gym Thursday after you was just in a car accident that Monday, clearly the dedication is there, but I'm gonna need you to make sure you take care of yourself and not do that
Yes.
again. But you guys heard it here straight from the owner and the founder of Push for Greatness. Make sure that you click down on below in the links to check out the website for the Mentee and Mentor application, pushforgreatness.org. Plus, June 9th at Busboys and Poets Hyattsville. It is going to be a fabulous show with the crazy lineup of poets, the celebratory, like come get your grub and your dance on. If y'all know me and you watching me, you know I'm always about to dance, honey. It's always about a dance. You better keep dancing. So thank you, TJ, for being here. We appreciate you and coming back on the show. Of course, you're always welcome. And thank you just for the impact that you are also making on these students and in our community. And we're happy that you decided to take a break and just take care of yourself and be vulnerable. That's just so important. So we applaud you for that. And we're super happy for your next endeavors.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that. And also, if they want to donate, we can donate on the website as well.
Yes, because donation is good, even if you can't make the events.
Yes.
Your money will still go to a great cause and go towards some nice mentees and the impact that they're having right now on their lives. So yes, donate. Go ahead, drop a dime.
Thank you. Yes, please donate. Thank you. We need it.
Yes, honey, we need the money, honey. Okay. Well, whatever time you're watching this, whether it be the morning, afternoon, or evening, we appreciate you for being here with us and spending your time here with us today. May you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. We will catch you next week back here with me, your girl DTC Hurt, on your Heard It Here podcast. Bye.